Hello everyone and welcome to this, a new game. How very exciting. This is Scum and Villainy Echo. My name is Tom, I will be your game master for tonight and I use he, him pronouns. So, we start by going, look, there's a book. Don't you love it? Unlike, put it in the, it's me, I'm here. Put it in the chat. Anyway, so, those of you who've seen Blades in the Dark, this is a very similar style game. The players are all, I wouldn't call them scum. That's incredibly rude. But they're on the other side of the law here in space for a kind of vibe check. Think Firefly, think Guardians of the Galaxy, a bit of Star Wars. This is people just trying to eke out an living among the stars. And does that involve doing a few heists? They wouldn't miss their treasure anyway. The way this game works is it's mostly played using D6s, or for people, you know, normal dice, just normal dice, like this one here. Very simply, if you roll 6 during a mission, absolutely amazing, everything's great. 4, 5, things are going a little bit wrong. 2, 3, oh dear. 1, oh no, SpaghettiOs. But the players are able to take stress. You know, maybe they rolled a 2. I say take 4 stress. That means you've got shot in the leg rather than in the head. Imagine, folks. Imagine if I just decided to go, you got shot in the head. What a fun game. We will be explaining the rules as we go along. And as we're saying, this is exciting. It's exciting to get into a new game and with my lovely players. Now, speaking of lovely players, you can see them scattered around me. And I would like to invite one of them to the proverbial microphone. Not that proverbial, we all do, in fact, have microphones. Josh, please introduce us. Give us your pronouns. Tell us a little bit about who you will be playing tonight.
Hello, everybody. My name is Josh. I'm not in the DM chair today, which is odd for me. But yes, I'm Josh. I use he, him pronouns. I am going to be playing a character called Rig, who is a mechanic. He's human, and he's a colonist as his heritage. So he grew up on one of the sort of backwater planets on the outskirts of what we would call the Imperium. And yeah, that's all you're going to find out about him for the moment.
Fair enough. He's just a lovely guy. He wouldn't hurt a fly. Speak of people who wouldn't hurt flies. Hello, Rebecca.
Why would you hurt flies when there are many better people to hurt? I am Rebecca. I use she, her pronouns. I am playing Angel, who also uses she, her pronouns. Angel is also a colonist, grew up on one of, similarly, the more mundane outworlds. A very unimportant few things happened between growing up in a farming colony to arriving in a high-security prison. Nothing important, nothing interesting.
It's just absolutely normal space opera that we're doing here. While I leave you all putting doubt in chat, I'd like to start by saying thank you to our sponsors and supporters. We are delighted to be sponsored by Phoenix Dice. Now, if you go to phoenixdice.com, you can find these amazing clickety-clack math rocks, including these limited roll together dice. As you can see, Josh is showing you some other dice you can get from our wonderful friends. So if you go to checkout and you put roll together RP, roll together, one word, caps, you get 25% off at your purchase. Now, big thank you to the D20 Club and the Dice Heads on Patreon. Oh, I've got hands. Now, they are fantastic. Now, for one of your local currency or one space goat, which must be sent to me so I can colonize a planet with a bunch of goats, you can be part of the Patreon. Now, the Patreon are supporters. They have created a Discord where you can talk to us. They've created a wiki where you can work out all the little interconnecting bits, especially when an NPC turns up and you're like, wait, there was that guy in a game 3 years ago? Yes, he was. Without their support, we couldn't be making such amazing games such as this. Now that's taken about 5 minutes of your precious time. let's do some lovely crimes, shall we? We begin our adventure at what some people would consider the end of an adventure. Welcome to the Isotropa maximum security prison. It's on a desolate little desert planet. The heat is hot, the food is terrible, but you could be in a worse situation. You could be working in the mines. You could be fighting in a war. And for some folks, it's actually quite nice after years of smuggling and fighting just to be able to have a little bit of a break. But not so for certain people. No, they've got intentions. They've got plans. Their adventure's not going to end here in this little dust ball. No, they're getting out. The stars are full of promises and credits. But how to get out of this place? I mean, the guards aren't particularly on it, but they've got rifles, and as previously established, no one likes to be shot in the head. But the scuttlebutt here in the canteen is the usual boring stuff. One of the prisoners, Big Joel, he supposedly got it out for Gregson, and everyone is starting to put down little chits. Like, I mean, Gregson is small but is wiry, and people think when there's going to be a fight in the rec room about maybe who took the last board game, it's going to be very exciting. Look, as I said, there's not much to do here, but through the chatter of this space and maybe a couple of illegal radios hidden in people's clothing, maybe hidden in a couple of space Bibles. Space Bibles. It's normal Christianity, but in space. There's talk that there's going to be a very interesting visitor. A ship is coming in. A bounty hunter. A certain Master Brown, as he's known, is coming in and is bringing a very interesting prisoner. And this hasn't avoided the attention of some of these inmates, because a ship is a promise. A ship allows you to get out, and especially a bounty hunter's ship. I mean, yes, poor little Brown's going to be upset that someone stole his ship, but what's he going to do? He doesn't have a ship. So it is that we are now here in the canteen as the prisoners eat their meat and their potatoes. It all comes out of the same tube. Don't ask. I mean, if you squint and forget what actual vegetables taste like, it's as good. Anyway, the talk is of Brown's ship coming in. But again, most of the prisoners go, oh, that's interesting. A few of them brag, oh yes, no, of course, they would happily go toe-to-toe with this bounty hunter. But a couple of ears have perked up. And as the camera pans over, we have a poor soul who has pretty much given up on trying to eat this terrible slop. Rebecca, as the camera pans over to you, pretty new to this place, can you introduce us, tell us what you look like, and what are you feeling at the moment?
So Angel is sitting at one corner of a table, not near the centre. It's odd. There's lots of jostling for space, but she's managed to sort of create a radius around her of don't try it. Which is peculiar because there's nothing physically that shouts that she's really intimidating. She is a slight, fairly short woman, very ginger, tightly coiled ringlets, a little smattering of freckles across her nose. She is young because she has only just arrived in the last, 2 or 3 days. She still has a healthy glow of, I know what real food tastes like. And therefore, she has her tray pushed away in front of her. She is absent-mindedly fiddling with the fork whilst gazing into middle distance. And as, a fight sails past her, she just doesn't flinch, doesn't notice, and she is intensely concentrating.
Again, it's it's your first time in prison, but you follow the talk of your friends, and you know that this is how this is going. You keep your head down, you focus. You don't mess with people's board games. It seems that seems to be a big thing, as indeed a fight has begun. You're not quite sure, because as I said, you're in your own head at the moment, what started it, and frankly, you could care much less. Yes, Angel. It's only been a couple of days. As I said, I think people sort of started approaching you, but someone else put a hand on their shoulder, and there was a very quickly muttered conversation, and the word knives was used, and they were just like, okay, and this sort of hulking guy sort of looks you up and down and kind of goes, all right, and walks off. So Angel has so far been unbothered by the prisoners. How, again, sort of, it's a very sort of, how have you been spending your days here in this dusty, terrible prison?
When she came in, she made sure that she whispered the, relevant knives information to one or two people who looked like the rats. But other than that, she hasn't spoken to a soul. She has been watching. She has watched where they put her clothes and her guns. She has watched the guards, their routines, when they come on, when they come off. She has watched the inmates to see who is too comfortable here, who is all talk but no use, and who might be convinced through charm or otherwise to help her. And she's not done anything aggressive. If someone makes eye contact, she just smiles ever so sweetly, and yet they are always the first to look away.
Very, very sensible, to be honest. I'm going to ask you to make the first roll of the game. Now, folks, my players have 12 different attributes. Some they're very good at, some less so. But the fun thing about this game is that I don't announce what I want them to do. They tell me. So, what would you like to roll?
I think I have heard the scuttlebutt, and I am interested, and so I want to. But I know my own skills, and I know what I am missing.
Yes.
So I think I want. What do you think would be better? Either a skulk or a sway. Either skulking for more of paying attention and finding stuff out, or sway to start hey, maybe we could have a chat approach.
Interesting. So, yes, that's as you said. So, skulking is obviously more sort of secretive, which you have been doing. Sway, as you said, you know that there are rats, and you can use that. What are you feeling? Are you feeling mysterious, or do you want to use your excellent and charming charms?
Oh, I mean, when you put it like that, then I will sway with the best of them.
Folks, the players all get experience for doing certain things, and as a scoundrel, if you could be a charming rogue, you get that. So, Angel, yes. How many points do you have in sway?
2 points in sway.
Amazing. So, the way this works, folks, is Rebecca is going to roll 2d6 and take the highest. If she had 1, it would obviously be 1. If she had none, she would roll 2 dice and then take the lowest. Unfortunately, when you have no skills in something, you can't crit. So, as we said, we hope for a 6, but...
One was a 1, the other was a 5.
Amazing. Okay, so that does mean that that's a success. But there is a minor sort of thing. You have obviously been dropping... quite early in the name of the Ashen Knives. The Ashen Knives are they are a business of like-minded individuals that are involved in certain pursuits, like murder and gambling. Angel Angel has not risen high in the Ashen Knives, but enough to know that that name has a sway, obviously in prison. I say you start... You very quickly, as you said, you've got your rats and you've got your claws into them and are being like, okay, I need you to help sort some stuff. It does make a lot of sense, though, that as soon as you start dropping the names of basically a gang, a syndicate from outside of the prison, you've kind of paid, not in the brightest red paint, but a target is now painted on your back. A shield is being held up as well, but certainly sort of people are like, as I said, like the big hulking guy who kind of like saw you, you know, sort of like, you've done your polite smile and stuff, but he's still observing you, and you're smart, and you're like, cool. Maybe my time here is a bit limited, you know. As we've said, you've got things to do, but you, with the 5, you know, this is not like watch your back tonight. They're coming for you, but it's enough to be like, difficult. In your swaying of the prison snitches, so names have been thrown around, and they've told you that there is a particular young man that you should probably go talk to. He goes by the name of Rig, and Rig can get you things. Rig not only get you things, but Rig can fix things. You've picked up on them people having like very small like transmitters in their basically you're in orange jumpsuits. This is, you know, and so you can, like, as you've passed, you've kind of faintly heard like the sound of sports and, you know, talk, and also weirdly someone who's definitely just like trying to put a hit out on people and just talking into their collar, and the guards are like, hey, stop that, and he's like, sorry, I'm just you gotta cover your mouth when you're coughing. The guy's like, yeah, whatever you say. Anyway, you've heard of Rick, and I think you sort of like, okay, do I need an introduction? And they're like, no, he's just over there. As Angel, this is slightly flashing back, so this is before the lunch that you're kind of, as everything's turning around in your head. As we look, as you were sent across the yard, Josh, this intimidating woman is walking towards you. Can you introduce us, please, to Rig?
I have a question before I introduce us to Rig. Just to get a better sense of this type of the prison that we're in, is this a stationary prison in the desert, or is it like one of those big dune crawler things that is constantly moving?
Oh, I'm really tempted to make it. It's a stationary prison, but there are other prisons out there that, you know, for the transport where they just keep it moving. That's how they do solitary. They put you in a little vehicle and they just send you out, and the Urbots, the droids, then go, okay, it has been 4 days. We're going back now. So, yes, you are fortunate because you've kept your nose clean that you've not been put in one of the wheelers. Because that's literally a sweat box out there. It's miserable. And because it's an Urbot, you can't be like, hey, I'm really parched. Can you do something? It's miserable. I think that guy who was trying to order the hit might be going into one of the wheelers. So,
yeah. So I'm out in the yard area at the moment. I think what would have happened was I would have grabbed my food and eaten it. But instead of eating all of it, because it's like sloppy stuff, I've eaten some of it. Not very nice. I've picked some of it up in my hand and sort of put it in my pocket, and I've walked out into the yard, and I've sat down at my bench that I normally sit at, which is kind of like has a view of all of the different gangs and groups that are here, so I know if anybody's going to approach me, and I sort of hide myself away, turn my back to as many people as I can, and I pull out of my pocket a bunch of little devices or little bits of scrap metal. I mean, they look like scrap metal when they're all separated. One of them is an old world sweet dispenser, you know, like the ones with like the Hello Kitty head on the top, and that's the main one. And then
Josh, what is on the head? What old world cartoon is on this head? Is it Hello Kitty?
It looks like it was probably a crocodile. at some point, like a cartoon crocodile, but it's all discoloured and everything because it's that old.
It's a cool. It's a crocodile wearing sunglasses. Is it a cool croc?
Yes, cool croc.
Okay, you've got a dispenser, a cool croc dispenser. Sorry, we're world building here.
Yeah, I pull that out. I pull out some other little things, and then I basically start fiddling with it all. And I've got this dispenser with a small little cylinder thing attached to it. I pull out the slop from my pocket and I shove that into the cylinder, and I sort of shake it about a bit. I then pull out a little capsule from another pocket, and it says spice on it. And I put that, it says chocolate spice on it, and I put that into the machine, shake it, and then I push the dispenser, and out pops a little sweet of this gloopy stuff, but it's chocolate and spice, and I'm like,
Well, it is stated, though, he who rules the spice rules the galaxy, and you have been able to work that. I have no doubt in you. Do you just want to make a quick roll, just to... this isn't so much for... choose what you want to do. This isn't so much for your talents here, but let's just see what's going to... Yeah. What would you like to roll?
I think I'm going to go with rig, because it's something that I've built a few times, but there is always the case that I might get something wrong.
Yeah.
Because it's still an experimental thing.
That's fine.
I rolled 2 3s. I'll let you choose which one.
I'll go for the 3. I know we're in the early stage and this is world building. Do you want to take stress to push yourself up to a success here?
I think I will, because it's embarrassing to with something that I've done quite often. So, is it 1 stress per result?
Yes. So if you want to push it up to,
I'll push it up to.
Do you want to push it up to a 5?
I'll push it up to a 5. Yeah.
Amazing. So 2 stress. I think this also makes sense in world where you're just like, oh, for goodness sake, this is such an easy where because you press cool croc and the spice didn't harden enough and it just sort of gloops up and you're just like, so you're like, you take a bit of time to just sort of okay, I'm putting this back in, lick it off, and you're like, yeah, okay. It's a bit like cake powder, that sort of thing, where you're like, okay, yeah, it kind of tastes the same, but it's much better when it hardens. It's like, okay, working. Okay, you press it again, the pill comes out, and you're like, yeah, amazing. Put it in your mouth, go, delicious, as you look up as there is a woman just standing, having seen you rig this. You don't really recognise her. You don't get yourself involved in the politics of this place. You haven't joined a gang, people, but... Once again, one of the snitches, maybe Jerry the Rat, has just gone. Rig, you wanted a quiet, easy life. You wanted to serve out your time. Literal trouble is standing and is staring at you.
I should say that Rig looks like a veteran of the prison. He's been here for a few years, 3 years. I mean that's a veteran in this prison standards. Has that same orange jumpsuit on, but has the top half taken down and folded around them like a jumper, revealing very scrawny looking arms, very young looking long brown hair that's tied up into a makeshift ponytail. Looks like it's been a bit disheveled at times, like it was put up probably 4 or 5 days ago and just hasn't been sorted. Loads of knots in the hair and everything. You don't get combs in the prisons. So
no. And they're
probably not been brushed in 3 years.
They haven't given you good shampoo either. It's
again where anything.
It's soap. Everything in this prison comes with quote marks around it.
Completely clean shaven, lovely green eyes. They're the only thing about him that shows a sign of intrigue and life. Everything else looks defeated. But yeah. So,
how did you get a shave, but you didn't get a haircut? What did you do to make sure that someone's going to make sure? Or can you just not grow a beard?
I didn't go through puberty property. I cannot grow a beard. I am envious of all of the people walking around with big bushy beards. Although I do laugh at some of the ones who have got no hair on their head and big bushy beards. Because I have lovely hair.
Yeah, canonically, he's got lovely locks. Okay, you don't laugh too loud, obviously, because he's a big Jerry and
inward laugh.
Inward laugh. Look, Rig, it's kept you alive this long. Keeping the mask of civility while you just have a polite little chortle. Anyway, as you said, the shadow has hit you, you look up. There is this this attractive woman with freckles just looking at you with a little smirk.
Hi, can I help you?
Would you like to steal a ship?
Sorry?
Would you like to steal a ship?
I mean, if you say it any louder, I think the whole prison might join you.
So that's fine.
How? Where? What? How?
Oh dear. I thought you designed these little radios. That's what the word is. Do you not listen to what comes in?
No, I don't. I stay away from all of that. I design them for people, but I don't want to be involved in any of that, because then that way I can't get shanked for knowing stuff.
There's a ship arriving tonight. I want to steal it and fly away on it. My skills are more of the people persuasion, talking, learning, shooting. You, I hear, are good with the actually flying the ship side of things.
I'm good at keeping. I can help with flying the ship. I'm not the best at it, but I would be better suited to keeping the ship in the air, as in repairing it all the time. Also, I do happen to, one of the first things that I did get from when I first came here, and I'll lean into you to whisper this, I did get the blueprints of the prison, so I do know where all the sneaky bits are. It's tattooed on my body, and I'm joking. It's not prison break.
Why are you still here? They say you've been here a long time.
I just didn't really, I didn't have a plan of where to go after I got out. There's no spaceport near this prison or anything like that, so I was waiting for an opportunity like this. This is the first ship I've heard of since I've been here anyway.
So you in?
Yeah.
Rig, who
Excellent.
is easily convinced. Because I think it's safe to say, Rig, that you are aware of, let's say, the politics of this place. These sort of fights that seem to be happening are happening a lot more now. It's the heat of this place. It would drive anyone wild. And it's only a matter of time until somebody gets angry about the loss of their game or not being able to talk to their girlfriend. And who are they going to blame? They're going to blame Rick. So, yeah. Well, also, you're looking at this young woman. She also has very lovely hair, but looks like she's been able to wash in the last at least in the last week, let alone in the last 3 years. And
yeah, Angel has the peak, sci-fi prison jumpsuit attire of. She's got the, similar to Rig, got the top half sort of down and tied around her waist, and then just a tank top underneath. She's less scrawny than Rig.
Yeah.
We're like a before and after shot. This is what you look like when you just joined. This is what you look like 3 years in.
Rig, you also notice that this mysterious woman has, it's very early stages that someone pointed and pricked, has what looks like a gang tattoo of a knife. It's not fully inked, but it's quite small, and it's like, so you're just like, oh, that's definitely not a prison tattoo. That is obviously someone with a connection. And yes, it does occur to you that this is a possibility, and I'm not going to lie to you, this is the first person who's ever actually offered you something like this. Everyone else has been coming over and being like, right, Rig, I need this, or can you make it like a hologram of a lady? And you're like, no, I'm not doing that. That's weird. And they're like, oh, I'll go ask someone else. So yes, folks, a union is created here in this prison yard. As I said, Brown the Bounty Hunter, better known as Ruskin Brown, is coming in tonight with an important prisoner. As pointed out, ships don't usually come here. The wheelers, as we said, they will trundle their way over here. And this is the point, people have tried to escape. They haven't taken a ship. They've just run into the desert and have stopped being a problem pretty much as soon as they've gone over the horizon. Look, I'm not saying that there's sandworms out here, but there's certainly stuff out there in the desert.
Imagine the guards don't even bother trying to stop them. They're just like, oh, they escaped. They'll be dead soon.
Absolutely. And there have been a few occasions where men and women have come back sunburnt, exhausted, and the guards have just sort of been like, so, what did we learn? They're like, don't upset the homogeny. It's like, yeah, you come back in. Yeah, those they don't last very long here. Yes, so a plan is beginning to be formed. Angel, as you said, you have combat skills. You have the gift of the gab. Rig, you have understanding of. You've probably wandered around most of the corridors of this place, and even some of the ones you're not supposed to. You can rig stuff, hence your name. You can hack. You've got an understanding of where the cameras are. You know, sort of like so. As we said,
I don't know if you'll allow it.
Yeah, go ahead.
One of the sort of things that I have on my load is hacking tools. Now, when we were doing like the character creation and stuff for this, I said to Tom that a lot of my inspiration comes from Mass Effect for this. I picture that I've got in my cell. I don't bring it outside with me. It stays in my cell, like behind a sandstone piece of brick, so nobody can find it. Is like a wristband that is like my thing that I use to hack into stuff. It's probably the one and only thing that I've been able to get hold of that is like pieces that I've gotten from people over the years that I've been here, and it acts almost like an Omni tool. I can't do like the whole Omni sword thing from it, but I can hack into things, and I've probably hacked into the security feeds a couple of times. I've probably gotten a couple of the guards in trouble for doing things that they shouldn't do in the guard tower, like falling asleep.
I will say yes, but so folks, like when you're rolling, you can do a thing called the Devil's Bargain, where you take something. I'm saying that you have got one of this, but you do owe one of the guards a favour. His name's Krell. He is a ratty-looking guy, but like you, is a survivor, and was able to get away with being like, hey, yeah, so I lost my tool, and so I need a new one. So was able to give it to you, and then when he handed it over, he's like, this was about half a year ago, and he's like, there you go, Rick, but you remember who your friends are, right?
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. If you need anything, I will help you out the best that I can.
Attaboy. As he goes off, Krell, so far you have not got in trouble, but like Krell has kind of been, like I said, this is another reason you want to get out of here, because Krell has started like pushing, like you said, you're like, I got some of the guards in trouble. Krell is like, knows that you were put in here because you tried to do and actually succeeded, a really big hack on one of the major banks. A larger quantity of money's gone, and like we've mentioned Prison Break, as soon as the guards are like, interesting, there's money that has never returned. Rick, you're like, oh dear. Things like, yes. So, you can now, on your loadout, I'll give that to you, you do have hacking tools. You have a prison warden's bracelet. It's probably only going to be useful on, like, the local, I was about to say Wi-Fi, you know what I mean? But also, it's still kind of registered to Krell, and so that's the thing with, like, going, okay, Krell's opened this door, Krell's done that. Yeah. So yes, you have your hacking tools. You are ready. Okay. So as we are going to be coming up to the evening and the big plan, is there anything either of you would like to start preparing now for the big escape?
Just studying the blue.
Yeah,
no, sorry, Josh, go for it.
No, you go.
Yeah.
I think I would like to chat to a couple of key guards and suggest to them that they might like to be somewhere else later.
Oh ho ho. Okay, so folks, there are like different levels of difficulty in this game. So what we've been doing so far has been controlled. I'm going to push us up to risky. So, risky obviously makes things more difficult if this goes wrong. So, yes, what skill are you using to?
I'll use sway. I would also ask Rig to help because if I can say I might be partnering with someone who knows where all that gold is, there's a lot of credits in it for you if you turn a blind eye. That means something in it for them.
So, what we can do with this is that there's lead a group where you both roll, and then we take the highest as a group thing. Does mean if you get 1, 2, or 3, you take a stress. For each of you. So, or you could basically bully Rig into assisting you, where Rig will take 1 stress to give you 1d6. You can also push yourself. That would be 2 stress. That adds a d6 as well. Or as I said, you can take a devil's bargain. I can give you extra dice, but I'm going to make it more complicated. So that's a lot to throw at you. Are you gonna bully poor Rig, or are you just going to make it risky?
I mean, Angel absolutely would just bully Rig, but Rebecca is a nicer place.
I don't know if you're bullying. I think you've kind of gone into sort of like, right, okay, we're doing this together, and this is the plan. And poor Rig is just like, Rig,
more in command, more in command rather than bullying. You're definitely still the nicest person that Rig has met in this place.
Yes, no one has. This nice lady has not tried to stab you, Rig. So, yeah.
And it's been longer than 10 minutes as well. I will definitely take that stress to give you a d6.
Cool.
That is very kind. So I get 3.
Yes.
Oh, there is a 6. That is okay. The other 2 were very bad.
Amazing.
And I saw the 6 last, so I had a minute.
So you have a 6. That also means you get to gain a gambit, folks. That is basically a free dice that they can use for. Basically, you took a risk. It paid off. Angel, you just. You've been here a few days. As the hair toss, you sidle up to these these dusty-looking guys. What are you going to say to them?
I've heard there's a fantastic, league match being screened on the hollow screen in the guards' quarters this evening. Are you going to watch it?
Look up. Yeah, but I mean, we're on. Was like, hey, we could put a bit of money on that. And he's like, sort of looks you up and down and go, yeah, the match tonight is going to be a good one, right?
I've heard. I reckon whatever money you had put on it, I could place a bet.
Interesting. Everyone's like, hey, and everyone's like, shut up. Yeah, a bit of maybe sort of looking you up and down, mostly for like, okay, you look like you don't look like you're some poor scrapper from a back planet. There's, like I've said, you have had a bath in the last week at least. As it's just a little shitty. Yeah, they sort of like, all right, and again, sort of like. You're not showing the tattoo anymore, but they're like, they know where you're from. Oh, okay, yeah, no, maybe me and Jim here could have a good time with the game. And how much will we put you down for the bet?
Oh, how much are you putting down?
200 credits.
I mean, Angel 100% knows that that they are talking absolute nonsense, but doesn't let it show.
Yeah.
Oh, that's no fun. 500?
Yeah, 500 sounds good. Prisoner sort of looks at your little thing with a little CM on it. Yeah, prisoner CM. Yeah, 500 credits.
Yeah, but you should make sure you watch the game live. wouldn't want to think you were pulling anything with a replay. I can guarantee we'll all behave ourselves while you're gone.
Just the smaller ones, like, hey, they're like, no, a nice quiet night, and we can maybe we have a couple of beers, have a nice, maybe get some snacks. Yeah. This poor idiot is trying to be smooth. I mean, you kind of get the feeling like he might be trying to hit on you, but you've got, this is not, where he's just like, I'm going to have some beers, and you're like, neat. Cool, good for you, Yes, so, Angel, you have pretty much, if we're looking at the map for the prison, the guards who would be observing, the rec area there is indeed a big match on the holodeck. The guards are going to be in there. The guards are also going to be... you've got absolutely no intention of paying this, because you're not going to be here. I think, to your knowledge, they probably think you're going to shank someone tonight. That's going to be you get the guards out of the way, and then you're just like, oh look, the the Suns won. Oh dear, oh no, that guy got stabbed. Yes, so you have successfully taken the guards out of circulation. They are going to be in their guard station watching the match. Congratulations, yeah. Much easier. Rig.
I think Rig's plan is to obviously get the tool, pull up the blueprints, plan out the path that we need to take to get to where the ship is, to where the shipyard is. But also, because I've had access to the security cameras and stuff as well, I've got minor access to some of the electronical locks and things. So the plan is to lock the guards in their guard tower when they're in there.
Smart. And
then maybe unlock all of the prison cells so that if they do get out, they don't have to deal with all the prisoners rioting while a select few of us sneak out.
Very good. And also a very smart idea of scattering, where it's all the prisoners have escaped. We can't prove that we can't prove it was these two. Great. I think if you're okay with this, Josh, we are going to roll this as we go into this. We're watching the montage of we see the guards sort of sitting, the room is split in half as both teams sort of start. There are cans of beer, there is snacks. Like I said, what are you going to do? If you're going to escape, you're going to run into the desert. That's not a problem. The guards are always yeah, this is fine. Rig, you are in your cell. It's locked down. The guards, lights off, lights off. Angel sits, hands, yes, wait for it. Rig, assume you're rolling hack?
Yes, please.
I will just give you an extra D6 because I think you've had time to plan this out, and you've done minor crimes here, but this is a big one, so please, yeah.
I saw two of the results were twos, and I was like, no! And then the third one was a 6. Thank God for that.
Please add a gambit. Absolutely beautiful. So, folks, a big thing about these kind of games is that the characters are never incompetent. Luck goes against them, a gun will jam, a guard will pay a bit more attention, but these two are... Bless Rig's heart. Rig, not a career criminal. You just, again, your little holograms there. You're looking, and sort of one finger, you hit the switch. The guard's tower locks down. With the other, the prison cells just fly open, and there is chaos as about 200 prisoners, all tired, all hungry, all stinking, burst out, and the two of you watch as just, hey, that fight that was supposed to be happening in a couple of days, it's happening now, baby. You know, prisoners just jumping at each other. You watch as other prisoners are just bolting for the doors, yes, you just, as you sort of hear sort of like a Tannoy going, guards to prison wing, guards to prison wing. Jim, where are you? Jim? And you faintly sort of hear, I'm in the prison, so what? What's happening? You know, panic is setting in. Right, okay, party people, keep your heads on your shoulders. You've got a plan. You know, if you're heading down there near the, there's a bit where you all have got checked in. Behind that is a large locker room where all your gear is being kept in secure boxes. Fortunately for both of you, you have someone who has a pass for one of the prison wardens. So either of you want to do anything before you go get your gear, or are you just focused on? Absolutely.
Focused on getting the gear. Any doors that we go through, I don't shut and lock behind us because that takes time. Also allows for potentially other characters to come with us. But just leave everything open as we go to grab our stuff and then make our way to the ship.
Amazing. So, folks, another thing that we do in these games is that we have a clock. I am going to set up a 6-part clock. This is going to be for when the guards get out of the cell. It's also very safe to say that Ruskin Brown is evident, you know, sort of like you can the guards who are running like the landing port aren't aware that there's a prison break going on at the moment. So I think I will cross out one piece already because they're like, hey, something weird's happening. Jim's not responding. Jim's not winning the football match, I'm afraid. His team is down 2-0. Angel, Rig, you reunited. As said, Rig is sort of pushing his bracelet towards. Welcome, Officer Krell. Doors opening as prisoners escaping. Can both of you? This is going to be just like a luck check. Can both of you roll a d6?
I have one thing that I would like to do, depending on what it is that this is for.
This is basically a 6. Angel, amazing. So basically, this is just you getting to the secure system. Rick, is there anything you wanted to do first before you get there? Because otherwise, we're going to work out if there's anyone behind the desk. And
when we get closer to, once we've got our stuff and we're closer to the shuttle port where the bounty hunter shuttle's coming in, I'll just turn to Angel. Be like, you're really sort of authoritative and assertive with your voice, aren't you? So
I can be.
Good for you to right. So, and then I sort of fiddle with the tool and I put it up to Angel's mouth and like, speak into that. Speak like you're a guard and you need backup.
All guards from loading deck, come to prison wing. Come to prison wing now. Hurry.
And then that transmits to the guards in the loading bays area, but it comes through as Krell's voice.
All guards to prison deck, we need security. Hey, AI, it's shit, but for this, it's great. As the AI takes on Krell, it sounds mechanic, it also sounds like, hey, this is a guy who's been smoking 2 packs a day. And just, cool, that is covered. I'm not going to make you roll for that, that's perfect. And do you just want to roll your d6 now, Rig? Actually, roll. What did you... 1. Amazing. Okay, so this is
too focused on doing that.
Yeah, this is perfect. So I think this is the perfect balance. So I'm going to say Angel's roll counts for getting your equipment. That as you watch, having set this up, you watch as guards abandon like the check-in desk, and what a bunch of silly geese. They leave the door ajar, and so it doesn't take too much to pull it open. You're in. As I said, there's lockers upon lockers upon lockers, each with a strip of card with your prison ID on. It doesn't take too long, CM 662. Yeah. Angel, I think Angel just needs to get, as Rig kind of is already in, has to be like, picks up the arm, pushes it in. Krell. So, this is perfect. So the way that these sort of heists work, folks, is that the characters get to decide what their loadout is. That will take up a certain amount of points. Said if you're traveling light, you don't have much. That's not too much. If you're traveling heavy, everyone's like, that person looks like they're trying to do crimes and is wearing a lot of armor. So, what loadout are you taking? How heavily were you? How much were you carrying when you got arrested?
I was gonna. Yeah, because we've got our stuff now, haven't we? So I'd say
Yes.
I'm probably wearing I probably have a normal loadout. That's what I'm trying to say.
Perfect. That was your walking around clothes. That was your stuff. I think that's 5 points.
Yeah. So
Amazing.
one of those points would be the hacking tools that I have.
That's fine. So if you cross out 1 point, so now you. So the way I said, folks, is the characters would suddenly be like, oh, by the way, when I got arrested, I happened to have, a grappling hook on me. And we're like, how convenient. There is a grappling hook now in your kit.
I can
Angel.
instantly see two things that I could have that would be very helpful for what we're about to do.
I mean, if you want to take it, this isn't like where I'm just being like, oh, no, you need to go get that stuff later. Wherever you're going, there's going to be stuff that you can pick up.
So the two things that I've got are I pull out these large set of goggles that I just put onto my head, and I connect them into the bracelet that I have, and it allows me to sort of zoom in on things. There's like an infrared mode on it as well, so I can see warm body signatures and stuff. And then I also have a small drone that I can send off to do scouting ahead and stuff. But it's like a scarab, so it's like a flying scarab. So it flies and it can attach to a wall and then sort of crawls along and can act like a security camera, which feeds back into my goggles.
Amazing. How many points is that of your loadout?
That'll be 2 points in total, so I've used 3.
That's fine. I think, as I said, if you're looking on your sheet, your italics, I think, don't take up loadout, so that's fine. That's 2 of 5 out of the way.
Small drone is one of those, so I will... apparently, illicit drugs is one of mine as well.
Look,
Yeah,
Rick, what you got up to before they arrested you is your own business.
We also have a genius pet, but I won't count that right now because I think having a pet in the locker for 3 years might be a bit better.
Well, again,
I'll find one.
We'll find you a pet.
Yeah.
Maybe Ruskin Brown has a space dog. Amazing. Does your scarab drone have a name? Is it just scarab?
Yeah, just scarab. Yeah,
it makes sense. Folks, that breaks down into if you take the letter scab. Okay, so you have your goggles, you have scab. If you've picked up anything else, we're going to find out in a bit. Angel, what kind of load do you want to carry?
She's only got a light load because she was on a, somewhat important and somewhat private mission when unjustly arrested for doing absolutely nothing wrong.
I also think it's fair to say that some of the items that you had on you at the moment of arrest, where they were like, cool, she's not getting those back. that isn't like what Rig did, it was kind of like, because Rig hacked and was caught doing that. What Angel was up to, Angel was caught in the act, and they were just like, no, prison, tomorrow, off you go. No call in the land would ever let you go. So yes, you have a light load. Anything in particular you want to say that you have now, or you just want to keep it vague to see how it goes?
I'll leave it mostly vague. She has a great outfit coming, but she has guns. Like, there are guns.
I think that's fair. I'll go so far as to say that, as I said, they're not your guns that you got when you got arrested, but because you're like, oh, this is the security thing where you're like, oh, your guns are out there somewhere. But actually, no, I tell you what, if they confiscated it, you're like, okay, that's like my clothes, and then you go over and go, prison, weapons. Okay, you now do have your guns, where that's fair, where they're just like, yeah, because I mean they're monsters, but they're not going to send you out without a weapon once you leave, which I think is very funny when you leave jail. They're like, here's your shotgun. Good luck out there. Amazing. So, Angel Rig, you are armed. You are dangerous. You have scab. You begin hurrying on down the corridor.
Could we make a slight detour?
Yes, by all means.
To allow the guards from the loading bay to get to the prison to help with the riot, I think would have planned like a slight detour to go through to like some critical systems, like maybe I'm guessing because we're on a desert planet, there's probably quite a few sandstorms that come through, and then there's probably like a filtration system that gets rid of the sand in the buildings and stuff. So I want to make a detour to that. And when we get there, right, this is the naughtiest thing I've ever done, but I think we need a bit more distraction, and I'm going to put a detonator on it. And take another
Angel
slot.
approves.
Why did they let you keep your bombs?
And I look right at the camera. I put a thumb up. That will come into play later.
As I said, that now has popped up on a screen somewhere as we just look at someone in the shadow going, interesting, very interesting. And someone else going, oh, are we going to do anything about it? And the hands are like, no, let's see what they're going to do. Rig, you have now put an explosive on. Please roll something to just see. And I'll set a clock.
I think it'll be Rig. I think it would be Rig again.
Makes sense.
Rig rolling Rig. I've just realised that.
How many dice are you rolling?
It's 2. I've got my gamble dice, haven't I?
You have your gambit dice. That's a free one. And I would say, you know what? This is pretty ballsy of you. So yeah, go ahead.
Angel is looking deeply approving, if that, makes you feel encouraged and confident.
I might actually push this up to like this is like super risky.
I rolled a 2 and 2 5s.
As desperate. So
I can push it to a 6 if I need to.
Up to you. So you will. I think it's fair you do it, but there is going to be a consequence, and I almost feel that you've done it, because you very much looked at the camera and were like, and as the camera, like both of you can see as the camera goes, and then focus and looks at Angel as well. You're both very clearly, look, they need to catch you first. It's all well and good knowing that your face is on a poster, and actually, that's probably not, for Angel, not a bad thing if your face gets on a wanted poster. Ooh woo. Yes. How long are you setting on your explosive, Rig?
I would say probably to get from here to the loading bay is probably about 15 minutes. So I would set it to 20 minutes to give us a little bit of leeway in case we do need to stop for any reason, or we do run into trouble with the bounty hunter.
Cool. I've set up a 4-part for bomb. I've done one in. So let's... Anything else you want to do before you get to the loading bay?
Well, actually, no, that was a 6. Because we're on a clock currently, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got Tinker as my starting ability. When you work on a clock with Rig or Hack, or when you study a schematic, fill +1 segment. Is that a +1 to my roll, or is that +1 to something else?
That is, if you're working like a clock for, like I was saying, you're going to have to build a droid.
Yeah.
And you have to do the clock. You would add an extra bit of the section, and so
so it's nothing to do with +1 to dice rolls or anything then?
Not at the moment. But that's going to be quite useful when if I was like, this is going to... Because at the moment, like, if you were in a different prison, you haven't had time, I was like, you need to make something, you need to program it. It's going to take this amount of time. That would mean you do it quicker. Okay,
cool.
So this makes it all perfect sense. You've set an explosive for 20 minutes. Angel, Rig, you're both like... Right, okay. You can already sort of like you haven't set the explosive off yet, but you can feel that things are starting to like shut down, like where it's like when energy's getting drained from other places. But you can, I've covered it in two because one, someone's been observing you. Also, people are like, hey, if I was a prisoner, where would I go? I certainly wouldn't run into the desert. Oh yes, the ship that's coming in. Like, the two of you hurry on down. You're looking at a raised platform as you both run out into like the cold of a desert night. Neither of you were from a desert planet originally. The clothes that you were wearing were like Rig. You came from a junkyard. You had sensible, hard-working clothes. Angel, the city you came from is like neon, Neo-Tokyo, Blade Runner kind of feel. Neither of you are wearing sensible jackets and just both have a moment of like, oh goodness, the chill. It gets to your bones. But it is perfect timing because as you watch as a shuttle is coming down, and as you both look up, you can faintly see in the orbit a large Fire Drake brand ship as the shuttle is coming down. As you both look around, no guards currently. This shuttle is going to be here in a couple of minutes. And as pointed out, sand is blowing up. I mean, the governor should be here to meet, but is probably locked down in his office because prison break. What do either of you want to do in preparation for the landing of the shuttle?
I don't know about... I would say this as a run. I don't know about you, Angel, but I don't really want to fight a bounty hunter. Should we hide until he gets off the ship and then we sort of jump in?
Hide or lie. Either feel terrible plans.
I think hiding might be good. I'm not very good at lying.
Let's hide.
As I said, either of you can split a plan here. Rick, if you want to hide, Angel, if you want to try and lie your way out, perfectly good. But I think
I'll start with hiding, but hide in a place that you can, if you're hiding in the bottom of a drain pipe, it's really hard to pull a lie out of that. So she'll go with sort of hiding behind a pillar type hiding, where she can just be like, oh, I was here the whole time.
Oh, you must forgive me, Mr. Bounty Hunter. I am a guard. I just fell in the sewer for a bit. Perfect. I said I don't normally go this. So if you want to roll, this is probably going to be something like Skulk or sort of. You can, as we said, if you want to make this into a group effort, both of you can like combine it together. So, Rig, what skills do you want to use for this? You don't both have to do the same thing.
I think.
So that's the thing. If Rig doesn't want to roll for like hiding, you could use another skill to be like, oh, maybe I'm using sort of scramble to get away, or study if you're trying to take things in and be like, oh, that is a hackable point. Or I could turn the lights off,
Is there any way that I could use rig to rig myself a sort of hidey hole, like in amongst some crates and stuff?
I think that's fair. I think yes. If you want to sort of say, and I think you've got scab, so you could be using scab to kind of get scab into a position. But yes, yes. If you both roll, tell me what you're rolling. And
Rick, can I have your bracelet?
Yeah, I don't need it for the moment. Shh, take it off, and I will need it back when we get on the ship. Though I've got a really cool idea.
What button was the tannoy? The tannoy button.
It's this one, and it's like a little green button that's next to a purple button.
Perfect. Thanks. I am taking my bracelet. What? I will sculpt.
Amazing. This is going to be risky. I think no one's noticed
I
you
got 5 was my highest.
Okay.
5 was my highest on rig.
Amazing. So this is the thing. I think this is fair. So you both sort of go scuttling off, go and hiding behind some large crates, and Rick, you start, moving the boxes around. Scab, sort of observing. Yes, you're both hidden. Yes, this is going to be interesting. The shuttle lands. There is a pause, and then there's the as the door comes down and turns into a walkway, and a man walks off. This is Master Ruskin Brown. He is indeed wearing a long brown trench coat and a fine cowboy hat. At his side, two shiny space pistols. He is played by one of the handsome gentlemen in these films. Is he a Filian? Is he you're looking at a chiseled brunette man, sort of in his late 30s. He's a scoundrel. Another F, Ford. We're looking at a handsome man who sort of steps out and sort of like looks around and is like, well, this is a fine how do you do. I was expecting a bit more of a welcoming party. As he turns to look into the shadows at someone, he's like, well, come along, my dear. I believe the governor will be joining us shortly. As he steps, a female-looking individual with, like, a bag over their head, in sort of torn clothes, and as both of you kind of look, there's blood. It's dried, but it's clearly whatever. This woman is limping. The blood is down her leg. Looks like Ruskin Brown has probably shot a woman in the leg and gone, you're my bounty, come with me. He starts escorting as you hear as the woo, woo, woo of the prison alarms begin going off. And Ruskin Brown's like, as I said, a fine how do you do? As the woman tries to kick him, and he just sort of grabs her by the back and goes, nope, you're worth my credits now, come along. And starts walking along, and then stops and goes, there's something mighty strange going on here. And starts, like, leading his finger along as, like, and then, like, starts bringing it down to his pistol. You are hiding, but he's on alert. It's sort of like going, It is the thing, you come into a prison and you're like, weird, no guards, no attempt, like, they haven't even turned the spotlights on for me. I doubt I'm going to be getting a fine buffet dinner at this speed. Both of you, yes, the shuttle's doors are open. Ruskin Brown is probably like, if you dodged round, you could start heading towards the shuttle. What do you want to do?
Angel, she's hidden. She's not close to Brown. Wants to press the button that Rick showed her, and hopefully it will come out again in Kareel's voice. Go, Master Ruskin Brown. Master Ruskin Brown. The prison is not safe. You must come to the governor's office immediately. There is a guard outside the loading bay to escort you. Come now. Bring any of your ship personnel for your own safety. You must go now.
I'm gonna roll D60. It's a 5. Brown is like, mighty peculiar. But, and sort of looks down at the limping woman and is like, well, you heard the governor. I think we need to, draws his gun and, like, puts it to the back of her head and is like, don't worry, my dear, I'll guide you. And begins walking and is going to sort of, where is my mind? And even, like, taps the side of his head with his own gun, which is wild. As he's like, what am I thinking? Opens up his own little thing and is like, okay, my dear, I think we need to lock down. You can hear sort of like, boop, boop, from the ship. The shuttle is going to be starting to shut its doors imminently. But, run, yeah.
Run?
Rick, both of you, as we come to the end of this first episode, this is going to be desperate. I am going to. What would be a good? So there's obviously the actions, but there is like a general like overview. There's like insight, prowess, resolve, where we look at how many columns that you have filled in on the left, as you see like your first like skills. So like if you've got like 1 in that column, you've got 1 prowess, say. So it's risky. Let's each is like, so this is like a resistance roll for resisting what's about to happen. So the thing is, you always are going to succeed. It's just depending on how badly this is going to go for you. So let's say that it's either prowess or resolve to see how fast you can run. So you get to roll the number that's in that first column.
Yeah.
So let's go down. Angel, which one would you like to roll? Would you like
Prowess?
Prowess. How many?
I have 2.
2. Amazing.
I also have a gambit that I'm going to use. I have 2 gambits, so I'm using one of them.
I think that makes perfect sense. So you're rolling for free.
A 3 and 2 5s. Okay. I think I want to. Do I want to just accept consequences because it's fun? Yeah, consequences are fun.
Okay, so we've got a 5, so minor consequence. Rig, what are you feeling?
Could I do something to help me in this situation?
Yes, if you've got something that you think's going to help.
Does it look like is Brown wearing armor to start off with?
Yes, he's wearing sort of. He's wearing. Again, he's wearing like his cowboy gear, but you can tell that there's like plating underneath that. Like his shirt may billow and move, but it's definitely like hitting against body armor.
Does it look like his space pistol is a laser pistol, or is it like a fires a round sort of pistol?
It looks like it's a laser pistol.
Okay. My thing that I'd like to do to help is to send Scab over, sort of land on Brown, and then explode in a very localized EMP. Doesn't do any damage to Brown, but it's just like
but enough to sort of like
knock his weapons out.
I think that's worth that's definitely worth a shot. I tell you what, roll. I guess it's again. I shouldn't call it a hack. I would say just to set off. Yeah. Being aware that this is going to take Scab out because Scab is electronic. You're going to lose your boy.
That's fine. I can make another one. I think that's
Heartless.
sort of my thing. Is Scab is like a recurring thing that I can. It's in my thing. It's a recurring thing I can make. So
Scab is like an Urbot, which in this world, this unit does not have a soul. This is a basic AI programmed thing that you can make out. You make him out of a box of scraps. So yeah, please roll hack to see how Ruskin Brown is going to react.
I rolled a 5 and a 2. I'm going to take a stress to make that a 6.
That's just perfect. As just like you see him go now, and you just hear him going "fuck" as the accent kind of falls away, and just you also watch as his left eye goes as like whatever cyber. Basically, he had like a dead eye thing. Like for those of you who've ever played like Red Dead Redemption, where you're like, oh, it's all gone really slow. He's got like as you fry a computer in his eye, he's like, fucking hell, oh shit.
Get on.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to say, you know what? I think that's having had that. Angel was already moving. He was about to like turn around. His eye and his gun frits out as you watch as this woman just, gets. There is a horrible like noise as she breaks her own font, gets the thing out, and you two don't really get to see. This woman as she definitely sprints weirdly away from the like equidistant to you. You know, she's not going into the prison. As Ruskin Brown's like, oh, the goddamn eye! Ow! Ow! It turns around. He's like, no, my fucking ship! Oh, man! As both of you, like, dive in.
Do you want to come with us? I'll say to the prisoner woman.
She sort of looks at you. She looks at you and she goes, yeah, I'm fine. I'll see you in the stars. Good luck, space cowboys. she sort of rolls off and into. I'm just saying that there's someone out there now who, once again, hasn't really seen your faces, but you know, someone owes you an act. You know, owes you gratitude. As you both like scuttle in, as I say, this is a smallish shuttle. You know that Brown has a larger ship up in orbit. It's actually going to be relatively easy. It's almost like there is a return button. Like it can home in. As you both like sink in, like in the belt, as Angel hits the button, and you just hear a boom, 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 boom. Good evening, Ruskin Brown. Have you had success in returning the prisoner?
I heard him speak in his normal voice.
You heard him in his normal voice, and you also heard him in his cowboy voice.
Yeah. So I will. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it perfectly because I've spent some time with Krell and was able to record his voice, which is why I was able to synthesize it. So I'll try and do a basic synthesization for it, and then put it up to Angel's mouth. That's very funny. I'm not authoritative in any way.
Please roll.
This would be, I'd say, hack.
Yeah. You don't have your bracelet.
I've taken it off of Angel.
Angel gives it back. I think that's the thing. Is you just sit down, you look at your wrist, and you're like, give me. Yeah,
that's a 5.
Perfect. You put it up to Angel's mouth.
Yes, very successful.
Yeah, we've had a great success, so I think... Oh, marvellous. Back to the ship? Yes! Yeah. Boom, boom. As you both sort of feel the judder as this shuttle... And you hear...
One last thing I'd like to do, because I feel that we're coming to the end, but it's something that I've been wanting to do since we set this plan in motion. I'd like to put the wristband back on just before we get out, just before it becomes a dud and I can't use it anymore. I want to reconnect to the prison servers and systems and all of that sort of stuff. I want to erase the records of myself and Angel from the prison, and I want to change the CCTV footage so that anything that was myself or Angel, I am Krell, and Angel is the big brutish guy, prisoner, the one that causes the most trouble.
That is fascinating. Okay, yes, I'm gonna let you try, which sometimes is all you can do. So yeah, this is very dangerous because this is big hacking. But yes, give it.
I help. I'll take the stress for it.
Amazing. So yes, free dice.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to say something else.
No, that's the thing. I'm just saying. So yeah, this is.
I rolled a 6. Oh, I rolled a 1, 2, and 6.
It's
fully prepared to spend stress then.
It's that sort of thing of like where you're just like, oh, okay, right. It's quite funny because it's like if we're thinking about like the AI figures that you've prepared. It's weird that you've been preparing this for a while now. Because Rig's not stupid. Rig may come off as a bit like naive. Rig's got a good mind on him and has set up his AI thing of like the prisoner, Krell, as you sort of like hack in and you're like, okay, details gone, Rig gone, Angel gone. You get to watch the CCTV as it tries to, like a worm, works into it, and then it's like, okay, so we're replacing this, we're working with that. It's not perfect, but that's not going to really matter because we hear the boom as like the bombs go off and the air filter turns off, and also you watch as things move out of the desert. The shielding of this place lowers, and the screams commence as you both sort of, you feel, as you're going up, you feel like the jolt of the shuttle, and when you do land on the ship, you will find out that sometimes it's better to go analog, as Ruskin Brown has thrown a grenade at his own shuttle, and your shuttle is damaged, but is good enough as the AI, whose name is Echo, goes, "Okay, Ruskin Brown, let's get home, and then we can go and have more adventures. Doesn't that sound fun?"
Yeah.
As like a soundboard, yes, comes out as our prisoners no more take to the stars. Well, everyone, what a to-do today. Thank you very much for joining us for the very first episode of this ongoing series, Scum Villainy. Echo, we named it after the ship. Hope you have had a wonderful time. Now, if you have enjoyed these games of ours, we do play D&D on our Twitch channel every Monday, which will be streamed at 6 p.m. UK time. Now, this can all be found at twitch.tv/RollTogetherRPG, and you can go on youtube.com and find us at RollTogetherRPG. Now, biggest of thank yous to the D20 Club, our Patreon, our dice heads, blowing you kisses, as we said, one of your local currencies, or one goat, which will be given to Ruskin Brown to be like, "Hey, you lost your ship, mate, but at least you got some goats." Please join us in the chat. As this is a Patreon game, this should be on our YouTube, so please do give us a like. I was about to say subscribe. If you're following us and you're not subscribed to the channel, you've made a choice. But anyway, put it in the comments. Let us know what you like so we can do more of it. Biggest of thank you to our supporters and our sponsors. Go on the social medias. We're Roll Together RPG. Tell a friend. Don't do crimes, as we like to say at the end of every episode. Don't do crimes. We'll see you in the stars. Take care, y'all.